Hello and welcome to another BMC webinar series. My name is Ricardo Lamas. I am your presenter for today, and we are going to talk about BMC business workflows. And for today's topic, setting up business workflow essentials. So without further ado, let's begin. So this is the agenda for today. We're going to start with onboarding and implementing, setting up a line of business, configuring case approvals, configuring service targets for tracking case progress, and integration. I'm going to go into full detail in the next slide. I'm going to be laying out each bullet point and everything will be demoed for you and we will design everything from the ground up. So this will be a really good experience if you're a case business analyst in your company and you are getting started with business workflows. So this is a more detailed view of what we're going to show you today. Our pacing is going to be from lab design, which includes lab creation, functional roles, up categorizations, data import, setting up a line of business, which includes case templates, customizing views for lines of business, basic approvals, which includes approval mappings and approval flow sets for case approvals, service targets, designing or modifying an SVT, integration, creating workflows, and integration with DWP catalog. So we're here in business workflow and you'll notice there is nothing we can see. We're not part of the current line of business. So to start things up out of the box, we're going to define a line of business to start using the application. So we're going to click on the gear icon here and then we're going to see the settings page. We're going to click on line of business and we're going to expand define line of business. Here, you're going to click on the plus icon, line of business, to create a new line of business. We're going to give it a name, perhaps service test 1, a short name. It can be service test 1 namespace. We can just say test. And just a test here. And we're going to click save. So right now, the out-of-the-box data is going to start getting created for us. So after a few minutes, our line of business is good to go. It has been created and you can see we have a successful status in the creation column. Now, before we activate this line of business, we have to accomplish a few best practice and essential tasks. You, as a business analyst, will need to start configuring the following data. Foundational data like op categories, people records, organizations, roles, permissions, and support groups, case permissions, outgoing email profiles, etc. For the purpose of this demo, we are going to cover the core aspects of the configuration, and this will be done in ITSM. So we're here in ITSM and we are ready to begin setting up our foundational data. As you know, foundational data is information about people in a company, their attributes, categories, organizations, and locations. And how does it get tied up together? Well, we use the concept of domain tags. This allows the case agents to be associated with the foundational data. So we're going to click here on Applications. We're going to click on Administration Console, Application Administration Console. And we're going to click here in Custom Configuration. We're going to click Foundation here. We're going to scroll down a bit and we're going to expand Operational Catalogs. And we're going to click on Operational Catalog for starters. We open that. So we are here in the operational catalog form, and as a business analyst, you are starting to fill out the necessary foundational data you need per your request. Now, again, you can always use the content package feature to import data from QA to prod. But for setting up essentials, I'm going to demonstrate how you can start going through the motions to get the application going in no time. So you're going to click Create here. And when you get this pop-up here, you can notice that we can go up to 3 tiers of categorization. For demonstration purpose, I'm just going to add approval and then bonus here. And I'm going to click Save. You're going to get this message here. I'm going to click OK. And we're going to close the window. So now I've created my operational category. So I'm going to click on it. And you can see this little tab here, IS domain tags. So this is the way we're going to tie things together between business workflows and our innovation suite data. So we're going to click on the menu here and we're going to select the line of business that we just created, which is service test 1. So we click on that and we're going to click add here and that's it. Now we've tied things together for the operational categories. So now, as a business analyst, you are starting to work with the people. So, what is necessary for business workflow to function? Well, you have to pair permissions and roles to people. So, in this case, I have this profile open here. So, I'm just going to click IS personas here, and I'm going to click on Update Personas. You can see that I get this window here that is asking me for the application name. I'm going to expand this menu, and I'm going to select case lib, and I am going to select, oh, this person is going to be a case business analyst. So I'm just going to add that. And I'm going to select the line of business that we created. And this person is going to be an IS persona. I'm just going to click add here. And I'm going to click close. So next, we're going to click on Update IS Bundle Access, and let's see what options we have here. So we have this little menu that is popping up, and we have the Bundle Access menu. So we're going to expand that, and we're going to select Kslib from the Bundle Access menu, and perhaps we need to select the new line of service that we created as a bundle as well. So we're going to click Add here, and we're going to close. IS persona is the functional role that is used for applications that reside on Innovation Studio. So that's why we have to fill out these tabs here. The next thing we want to do is perhaps we need to create a new support group for a line of business. So we're going to go to the application administration console here, and you can see here support groups. I'm just going to click on create here, and it's going to open this nifty little menu. I'm going to select a support organization, perhaps lab group. I'm going to give it a name. It's going to be webinar group, let's say. And support group role, we're just going to say line of business. And we're going to click add. Once that is done, we're going to click OK here. And we're going to close the window. The next thing we have to do is, again, tie things together. So we need to go and do the things in the IS domain tags so that we tie the data between ITSM and business workflows. So we're going to go to the support group form. We're going to click on support company here, and we're going to expand that. Select Calpro, love group, and the webinar group we just created. We're going to search for that. And as you can see here, we found it. We have the IS domain tags label here. So we're going to click on the IS domain tags here, and we're going to click update here. We're going to see the menu expand. We're going to select our line of business, which was service desk 1. We're going to select that, and we're going to add it. Once it's there in the table, we're going to close. And that's how we have tied things together between ITSM and Innovation Studio with support groups. So let's head back to business workflows and see how things are looking. So now our line of business is taking shape. We have created a line of business. We have defined a line of business. We have created an operational categorization for a line of business, and we have added roles and permissions for a user. And we have tied things together between business workflows and ITSM. So now all we have left is to enable the line of business itself. So we're going to click on service test 1 here, and we are going to select the status here to active, and we're going to click save. So the next step is perhaps I need a template, a case template. So I'm just going to use the search feature here. I like this feature a lot. I'm just going to type template, and I'm going to select templates here. You can see I have the service test 1 line of business. I'm going to click case template. Let's start with that. Let's wait until it loads. We're going to say webinar test template. That's what we're going to call it. This case summary, we're just going to say test summary. Now you can see I have a bunch of required fields. For company, I guess I'm just going to leave it at global. The priority, I guess I'm going to leave it to high. And the case category, we had created a category before, right? So I'm just going to select that and select approval bonus. The owner company is going to be Calbro, the owner organization lab group, and the owner group, the support group I have created, which is webinar group. Last but not least, we're going to change the template status to active, and we're going to click save. Boom, that's it. We have created our first template here. We can move on to task templates. You can also tailor notification templates to your heart's content. Okay, so far we have talked about how you can create data in ITSM and how you can associate it by using domain tags. We have defined a line of business, we have created users for that line of business, we have added permissions, i.e., persona roles, we have created support groups, and we have associated them to the line of business by using domain tags. We have created opcats for that line of business, which we have associated to, and we have created a case template. Now, as a business analyst, you might have a QA environment where you have some data that you need to export to production. Since we already created a case template from the ground up, we are using the export and import content package next in Innovation Studio to export and import data between environments. So if we click here on task management, and then we click here on templates, you can see we have a very simple task template here. And now the goal is for us to move this to another environment. So we are going to go to Innovation Studio, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we have shifted gears back to Innovation Studio. We're going to look for business workflows here. We're going to click on the Actions button, and we're going to click on Create Content Package. So this is a very usable wizard here. We just wait until everything loads. We're going to click Next here. And this is where you can be granular and pick whatever you need to export. So here we're going to select task templates here. And if you see here, you have this click to build an expression. So we're going to click on that, and you'll see that you have a bunch of options. We're going to select ID because we just want to copy and export a specific case template. That will be our example. So I'm just going to do equals here. I'm going to open double quotes here. I'm going to head back real quick to business workflows. You can see by using the visible columns that I've made the ID column visible. So I'm just going to copy the ID here. I'm going to back to business workflows. I'm going to paste the GUID here, and I'm going to close the quotes. That way we're telling the system, hey, we need this task template specifically. I'm just going to click OK. Next here, we're going to select this, click Next. Here, approval configuration, I don't have to do anything because there's no approvals configured yet. We're going to move on to that later. We're going to click Next. And we're going to click Next here on these final ones. Finally, Next. And we're going to click on Create Package. You can see that the system will begin creating the package. Done. The packaging has completed, so we're going to click Next to download the package. We click Next, and we're just going to click Download here, and boom, we have the package in the system. Now we are ready to import the package. Here you can see it. I have it here in my computer. Now we only have to import it into the other system. So let's go to our quote-unquote production system to import this package. So we are in our production environment. You can see I don't have the template here, business workflows, and I am ready to begin the process to import the package. So I'm just going to go to Innovation Studio here. I'm going to click on business workflows to load the business workflows records. I'm going to click actions and import definitions and data. You're going to get this warning message. You're going to click yes here. And we're going to pick the package that we just exported. You're going to see the process here on this bar. Let's wait until we get it. Boom, it has imported successfully. If you click close here and we go back to business workflows after this loads here, and we just refresh this, boom, our case template has been imported from the previous environment. So we have come a long way now, and it's time to explore some of the other versatile features that Business Workflow can offer. This time, customizations. So starting with version 21 onwards, you are able to customize views for lines of business. So, as a case business analyst, you can modify the look and feel of the UI by copying or modifying views in a line of business. Maybe each individual line of business requires its own UI. And you can do this, for example, in the case console, case create, and case edit. So let's say that you, as a business analyst, has a need to create a custom field in the line of service. So let's do that. So here you're going to click on line of business and you're going to click on manage views. And this is the screen where you will configure that. So it's pretty flexible. You can define the view that you want per a line of business. If you can see here, I have this one which already has a custom view, but if we go to the one we created, there's nothing. It's just a default view. So let's create a custom field and we are going to define it in our case create and case edit views. So the first thing we have to do, we have to open Innovation Studio. So to do that, we're going to click on the grid here and we're going to click on Innovation Studio. That is going to take us to our main workspace, which you can see here. So we are going to click on Case Management Service and Case. This will open the case table. Now remember to always do this in the best practice customization view. So here you can see I have the new field button. So I'm just going to click on that to create a new field. Let's say I just want to be very simple. Let's just say text. So I'm going to create my new field. I'm going to say webinar field and I'm going to click save. Okay, so our field is created here and that's it. I have created the field in the table itself. Now it's time. You can see I have the message that the record definition has been updated and you can see that my field now has a database ID, which is perfect. Now all I have to do is to define it in my views. So let's head back to business workflow so I can show you just that. So now we're back in the business workflow settings page. We have selected the line of business that we are interested in. And as you can see, I have the default view. Now you can see that the edit button is disabled. That is as designed. You cannot modify the existing views. So to overcome that, you have to copy that and then create your own view on top of that. So you're going to click on the three dots here and you're going to say copy default view and we're going to give it a name. Let's just say webinar view for case create. And we're going to click copy that and we are going to wait until the system processes that in the background. Perfect. We got the successful message. Now you can see that the view is perfect and it's already editable. So we are going to click on activate here to activate it and we're going to click on edit. So we're going to click edit. We're going to wait until it loads here and we're going to scroll a little bit down here. So we're going to add it below target date. So here using our palette, we're just going to type text because we just are interested in a simple text field. So we select that and we're going to drag it below target date like so. Next on the field name, we are going to select the field that we just created as it was called webinar. So let's look for that webinar field. Here it is. I select that and I'm just going to click save. And perfect. The view definition saved successfully. We're going to close it. And perfect. Now let's do the same for the case edit view. So we are heading back to business workflows. And you can see that our webinar view case create is finished. But now we have to do the same for the case edit view to keep it consistent. So we're going to click on the three dots here again. We're going to say copy default view and we're going to give it a name. We're going to say webinar case edit and we're going to click copy. So we are going to wait until the system copies that in the background. Perfect. We have a successful copy. So we're going to click on activate here to activate it. And then we're going to click on edit. It opens our design view just like it did before. We wait until all the assets get loaded And we're going to scroll down because we said we wanted it just below the target date. That's a good spot. So here we're going to type text because we are just interested in a simple text field, and we're going to drag it below the target date as we had mentioned. And we're going to select our custom field that we created for the purpose of this webinar, which is our webinar field. And last but not least, we're going to click save, and we're going to wait for the process to finish. And we close this view, and Innovation Studio is telling us that our custom views have been listed. And if we go back to the Manage View section in Business Workflow, we can see that both of our views are looking perfect and have been designed. So you can see how the concept of designing the views per line of business is pretty flexible and easy to do. The sky is the limit here, though. I just show you a pretty simple and basic example, but you can go further. You can even use dynamic fields for certain fields that you want them to appear if specific things happen. You can see how Innovation Studio can help you design these little things without knowing a programming language or doing any kind of coding. Let me show you how this looks in action. So if you click here and create and then case, we get our case view loaded for our line of business. And if we scroll down, you can see we have our webinar field alive and well. So for our next topic, we're going to move on to service target configuration. We are going to keep it very simple. As a business analyst, you can configure service targets by specifying general information, business schedules, measurement criteria, and other milestones for lines of business. Now, accurate configuration of SVTs is important to ensure that business goals are met within your company. So we're going to click here on Service Level Management, and I'm just going to glance over the options that we have here. So if we go to Data Source Configuration, this is where the system picks up from its data sources to pick up measurement criteria, right? We have case, tasks, and multi-cloud incidents. But we're just going to create a very simple service target to start measuring case data. So we're going to click on service target here. And as you can see, I already have one for my existing line of business. But since we created a line of business from the ground up, we're going to create a new service target for that. So we're going to click on the lines of business, and we're going to select service test 1 to load. You can see I have nothing, so I'm going to click on the plus button. So here we're just going to give it a name, case management SVT. Data source, we're going to select case management. Company, we're just going to keep it to Callbro. That way this SVT will only apply to Callbro. Terms and conditions for this SVT, we're going to select the company, assigned company equals to, we can use this menu, Callbro services, and then we click add here and then save. Next, a goal. Perhaps I'm just going to say 2 hours here. Then the measurement, which is the important part here. Start. When are we going to start this? I guess if the priority is equal to critical, we're going to click add here. We can use this operator, and our support group, assigned group, is equal to webinar group. That will make it a little more concise, and we're going to click save, and we're going to stop measuring when the ticket is resolved. So perhaps we're going to use status equals to resolved, add, and save. Boom. We have our SVT design here. There are many other options, but we're going to see through those. We're going to keep it simple here. And we're going to click save. You can see that our SVT has enabled. Now let's test it out. We're going to click on create here and then case to open the case view. The case create view, we're going to type in a name, perhaps the requester, this person. You can see it belongs to the company. The priority, we're going to make it critical. And we're going to assign the group that we selected for our SVT. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And scroll up, see what we're missing, the summary, just give it a name and save. So when that's done, our case has been created, and you can see we are starting to measure. You can see this bar here showing us our SVT due date, which is 1 hour and 59 minutes. So we are moving even further with the application configuration, from designing the line of business itself, foundational data being configured, creating templates, tailoring the UI, designing SVTs for measurement purposes. Now, as a business analyst, one of the most primordial aspects of it is to configure approvals. But with approvals in business workflows, the sky is the limit. You can configure approval processes, custom approval processes, approval flows, triggering approval processes for case based on qualification, etc. Since we have created a simple line of business already from the ground up, we are going to create an approval mapping and we will map it to a new approval flow based on a case template. So here we're just going to click go to case and we're going to back to the settings. You can see that the SVT is alive and well there. Here, let's just go to quickly revise the templates that we had created, right? If we click on case template, you can remember that we have the webinar test template here, all good and ready to go. So the first thing we have to do is we have to configure an approval mapping. So we're using the search feature here. I'm just going to type mapping here because I really like this feature, very useful. Click on approval mapping. I select the line of service that I'm interested in. I have service test 1. There is no mapping here, so I'm just going to click here. It will open this sidebar here. I'm going to give it a name. Webinar approval mapping, let's say, right? Company global is fine. When will this trigger? Well, if the case gets assigned, it will trigger, so that's fine. Now you can see the status mapping. This will tell the approval what will happen, right? So if approved, let's say they will go to in progress. If it gets rejected, it's going to go, let's say, to approval rejected. If there are no approvals, we're going to say cancel, I guess. And error, we're going to say cancel. Simple. And we're going to click save. Now it will enable our template view. So you can see that we have our view listed here. So we can use that as well. And we can drag it to the right to indicate the system that if this template is also used, that it will trigger an approval, right? And so we're going to click here and we're going to hit save. Perfect. Now it's time to look at our approval configuration itself, right? So if we expand approvals here and we click on approval configuration, these are the 3 main objects that we have here in business workflow as consumables, right? We have case, knowledge, and tasks. So since we are configuring for case, we're going to click on case here. And we're going to go all over to the approval flows section. And you can see I already have a test approval already configured here. I'm just going to show you what was here, right? You can retailor whatever we have here. You can always use our existing approval flows and tailor them to your heart's content. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I created this very simple approval, but the qualification is not quite there, right? As you recall, we had created an operational category called approval bonus, and this will not cut it. So I'm just going to add the word bonus here and click OK here. And I've selected the approvers. Here you can go as granular as you want. You can go from functional roles, company, for field, for people, or specific support company. Since I selected people, I just selected the guys that I wanted to be the approvers, and I drag them to the right, and I click save. Let's select one more guy, perhaps this guy right here. And these guys are going to be the official approvers for this use case. And last but not least, we're going to save. So you have to take into consideration the approval flows precedence, right? If there is no one that will match the approval flow qualification, it will go cycle to the next one. This is why I have moved this to the top so that I tell the system, hey, this is the first precedence, right? So I'm here, I'm going to click close. I'm going to click on create and then case. Once I have this, I'm just going to select the requester. Perfect. And I'm going to select a template. Remember our template, webinar test template. Perfect. I'm just going to click apply here. And as you can see, there is something special about this template, right? The category tier 1 was set to approval bonus, which is exactly what we are looking for in the approval. So here I'm going to select the assign group that I wanted. I'm going to assign it to me and I'm going to click save to save the case. Let's wait until the case gets saved. Perfect, save successfully. Go to case, let's go to the case. And boom, you can see that the case has triggered an approval. You can see if I click show approvers, and you can see that the people that we had selected is waiting to approve this case. So now we're in the final chapter of this webinar, and to that, the grand finale. How do we integrate business workflows with other applications? I am going to show you how, as a business analyst, you can integrate business workflow with Digital Workplace Catalog. More specifically, how you can design a workflow in Digital Workplace Catalog that will create a fulfillment ticket, on this case, a business workflow case. Now, you can always rely on repurposing or using one of our existing example workflows for your needs, but the question may arise, how do I, as a business analyst, can design some of these things? And that is one of the goals in IS, right? How to design codeless applications. So this is just an extension of that thought. So let me show it to you. So from Innovation Studio, you're going to click on the application grid and you're going to say Digital Workplace Catalog. This will open your catalog. From here, expand services and click services. You can see I have 3 services here already. I'm just going to create a new one. Let's say that it's a service. And we're going to say webcast. For a template, we are going to select SaaS. For catalog, we're going to select the business workflow subcatalog, and we're going to give it a version 1.0. We're going to click create service. Now, the first thing we have to do is to select the workflow. So build it. So we're going to click add it here. As you can see, it expands the workflow and questions. So we're going to click add. As you can see, I already have a create case version of this. This is already designed, but since we're doing this from the ground up, we're going to do it anew. So we're going to click actions and we're going to say new workflow. And let's say create case webinar test. The catalog, we are going to select the business workflow subcatalog. This is very important. If you don't select the catalog, you may have errors. So please select that. And we're going to click create. This will open our design window. Let's wait until it loads. Perfect. So here we are on the palette, and we're going to scroll down here and we're going to look for the create ticket one. Where would that be? Let's use the magnifying glass. And then let's say create ticket. Perfect. We drag this in the middle and we're going to use the arrows to connect it. Just do it like that. Perfect. So you can see if I click here, you can have all the variables that you can start adding. But here we're going to click on the pencil here and we're going to click on add remote variables. So we're going to click add variable here and we're just going to say summary. We're going to add that and we're going to click add variable here to add our next one. You don't have to save just yet. We're going to say perhaps template ID. And we're going to add yet one more. This is going to be, we're going to call it SB context. And we're going to click save. Well, before we do that, for SB context, we're going to change the data to service broker context, actually. This is specific to Digital Workplace, and this just gives you specific information about the service request and the service itself, questions and answers in general. So you're going to click save. So we're going to start typing our variables here. So we're going to click here. For connection ID, we're going to use Innovation Suite. You can see this arrow pointing to the right. You don't have to save it yet. You can go to the next one. For this one, we're going to select Template ID. Next, we're going to click on the next one for Subcatalog ID. So you can see we can drop this down, and under Service, we can locate that one. That is going to be Subcatalog ID. So for the next one, we click on the arrow, we expand SB context, and under Service Request, we'll find Service Request GUID, and we add that one. So we click for the next one, And again, under SB context, service request, and we look for service request ID. So we click on the next one. For expression for requester, we're going to click on SB context and requested by user. We're going to get the login ID name. So we click on the next one. Content, that's fine. We can leave that one empty. We move on to the next one. For summary, we add the one that we had. So we click summary here. So next one, description can be empty for demonstration purposes, but you can further tailor it and enhance it. So next one, for Q&As, we're going to click on SB context and we drag questions and answers. We click on the next one. For process correlation, we're going to click on general and it's going to be basically the last one, process correlation ID. So we add that. And finally, we can click OK here. Okay, so we have all our variables set. So let's save this. And perfect, we have designed our workflow now. So let's click save here. And it's time for us to add the questions. So we click add here, actions, and we're going to say create single user request. Perfect. So we're going to design the questions so that the requester can answer some questions, right? So we're going to add summary and we're going to select it as a text field. There we go. Label is fine. And we're going to say save. So next we're going to add template ID. Here we're going to select text field as well. And under default value, we're going to enable this one. And we're going to select ticket template. And with the template name, you remember we had created the webinar test template. So we're going to use that one. And we're going to click save. Then, last but not least, save here. So we're going to save this questionnaire, webinar questionnaire, let's say, and we save it. Perfect. So all we're missing now is the catalog profile. So we're going to click edit here and we need a logo. So let's browse that real quick here. I think I have an interesting image that we can use. Let's use that to tailor our request. This is it. And service excerpt. So the admin, the catalog admin can add this. Like we can say test webinar service. And we can copy that for our description as well. And we're going to say save. Now we click on the three dots here and we click on approve and publish. Perfect. It has been published. So let me show it to you now live. So let's combine everything we have learned today. We're going to create a request that is going to create a fulfillment ticket. We have designed the workflow for that. And the ticket itself will require an approval based on a template. So let's do that. Here, let's just say webcast. You know, we have it here handy because I already did a test here. Okay, so you're ready. We just do request now. We're just going to add some summary here. And we're going to click submit request. Perfect. We have our request submitted. And you can see that the system will give us a fulfillment ticket, which is this one. You can see it's waiting for approval. So if we open that and we copy the case fulfillment ticket, that's it. So we go to business workflows and let's search for it using the global search option. We paste for it. We open it up. Let's go to case and perfect. You can see that the case has been opened. It's pointing to our existing operational catalog. It's triggering an approval and it's the fulfillment ticket that is coming from Digital Workplace. If we click on show approvers, you can see the three guys that we had configured for approval. And this will conclude this presentation for now. I will leave you with some references and good places to find more information on this topic. I created a best FAQ on business workflow to make it easy to find the answer to most common questions we get in support on this topic, and that will be updated periodically. It's a good resource to know about. After this webinar completes, we will post the PDFs with slides, and all of these clickable links and resources will be there. And that will be for anyone who was not able to attend the webinar live. So that was all from us today. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our Helix ITSM and Discovery channel. I'll see you in the next one.